final week of summer camp, week 10, and unfortunately I haven't finished how I wanted to because I was ill this week. So I had a stomach bug, and that meant several days in bed and several days recovering. I've been able to still show you the things I did just before I got ill on the Saturday, and I have been working on some watercolours and different bits and pieces gently while I've been recovering. One thing that was really helpful was going for some really lovely walks just locally, and I'm also going to include that because the scenery was just absolutely beautiful. Here's the first walk I went on this island that looks back over where I live. There's Saletti there. It was a really nice warm day. There's several lagoons on this island, and when the tide comes in, it comes right up to this place that we're walking on, this kind of ridge. It's really beautiful. Over the other side is Kent, and there's Canvey Island over there. All of this gorgeous foliage is really inspiring for me as well for painting. And look at the colour of this lagoon. It's like this crazy emerald green. I really liked it. There's Mr. Coral and Saletti again. Absolutely full of inspiration here, which I can take back to the studio. Okay, first things first, I was carrying on with that cardboard project I was doing, and I moved from cardboard onto this canvas. I didn't get onto the large canvas I showed you last time because I was reflecting that people don't buy many really large canvases, so I thought a smaller one would be better. This is 90% finished. I really like these details here. I'm thinking about maybe changing this colour here. If you've got any advice on what colour you think would be good, please leave a comment because I could do with some help on that. And these are based on some lovely flowers that my friend Charlotte does for me. Did I have anything else in this little pile from here? No, those are the ones from the other week. Then over here I started, also I've got this lovely watercolour palette, and somebody asked me about this the other day. Here is the name of it. Now, I'm not 100% sure if this is pure watercolour or if it's gouache. And it's interesting, in America they pronounce that gouache, but I think it's gouache. It definitely has a slightly thicker consistency to it. So they've got lots of different colour palettes. So I've got two of these. This is the larger one. And I never bothered to fill in my colour charts. And with some downtime, not rushing this week, I was able to do that, and I found that extremely helpful. So look at all these dark colours here. In the palette like that, it's just really hard to see, and I was kind of playing around each time and just getting what I found. But this time I can actually look and go, oh, I want that blue, and then pick it, so that'll be good. Then over here, I was doing something that I do where I divide up my page and I try different styles of a similar painting to see what things I enjoy. And it's interesting that I showed this to my son, and he liked different ones to me. This was his favourite. So he liked the colours more, the bright colours. I like this one the most. And also, I think they're all pen and ink. Yes, this is my favourite one. Maybe tell me what your favourite one is. And then I took it one step further. Some of these are with my left hand, some are with my right hand. It's not finished, that one needs to be done. Different styles. Some are with pencil, some are with pen. And that is a very fun activity to do. It's quite relaxing. On this one, move it so the light's not right. This is my favourite one. Although I love the way the jug of this is slightly got a jolly angle, and I also appreciate these cornflowers in this one. All of these wildflowers were based on some that I got when I went was it 2 weeks ago, to the farm, if you remember, and picked wildflowers. Here I am on the same island but on a different day. Look how different the weather is. It's really moody and starting to look like autumn. These are fennel stalks, branches, what would you say? And they were taller than my head. I picked some of these. Look, there's Saletti. Look how tall they are. It's like walking through a forest. Lots of blackberries as well. And I started to pick some of these. Here I was just giving them a good sniff, because if you go like that you can smell the fennel, and it was fantastic. I started to pick some of those and took them home, and I'm going to draw those. Here are the fennel stalks that I picked, and I've put them in a vase, and I'm going to paint those as well later this week. I'm also super proud to announce that when I was lying in bed ill, I was reflecting on my work balance. Mr. Carroll, do you want to come in? Do you want to be in the video?
No.
That I have a far too cluttered studio, says I with this in the background. I had a chat with one of my artist friends, and I came in here and did a really big tidy. And while I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, again, as I always say, I've tidied and it doesn't look tidy. The truth of the matter is that this was completely covered with stuff, couldn't use it. I've cleared it up. I've put out some of my favourite bits and pieces of mine. I've put some of my favourite things on the side here so that I can look at them. I also was, there's the doggy, hello. Also completely cleared, let me turn it round. Cleared this windowsill, which was full of stuff, and I realised was actually blocking a bit of light into the room. Got these at a charity shop, I'm gonna fill those with something. I got up on a chair, and I know probably when I was recovering I shouldn't have done that, but there we go. I got up on a chair and cleaned the inside of the windows, and at some point we need to go outside and do the outside. That brought a lot more light in, and I did a lot of research about this chandelier up here, and you can see it's got two different types on now of bulbs, because adding this brighter one, which looks really a weird odd one, but it doesn't matter in the studio, creates a lot more and brighter light for coming into winter. I think that's everything I tidied up. Oh, I also moved this table closer to here temporarily, because it's really nice. I can sit here and then swivel around to there, although it won't be permanently like that. And I did a bit of tidying up of my trolley, including adding this cool twine so that these can be stacked and also fall out. Trying generally, when I cleared this, to be better at getting rid of things instead of thinking every single thing I have could be a new project. That's the update on that. So I'd love to hear if you've got any thoughts on that, about being tidy, about getting rid of things. I'm generally quite organised, not necessarily tidy. And with my mum, we've talked about this, she's in the generation that were born the year after the war, and with rationing, there is actually a theory that that generation hold on to things more because they didn't have them, and it's like, what's that really posh word? Generational trauma? Well, it's not a trauma, but like a pattern. So I do tend to hang on to things. My mum used to have a utility room, and there was a cupboard full of things that we could use or could do projects with. So it's the balance between keeping things but not keeping everything. Yeah, so I'm trying to work on that, and I'd love any thoughts on that. That'd be really helpful. I unfortunately haven't been able to do my weekly diary, and quite frankly the weekly diary would have been me in bed or me lying on the sofa. But next week I'm thinking of maybe starting to teach some watercolour, so if you'd like that, let me know. And also, what would you like to see for next week? Thanks for watching.